Hello and welcome back. We are the Real Brothers and we're recording another video now for you. So today, do you want to explain, Sam, what's going on?
Yeah, so today we're going to look at our favourite live action Batman moments.
Okay.
So we've picked our top 5 moments, whether they're scenes or lines or...
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll be honest, this was quite tough for me. So we've got, I think we worked out there's 12 live action, well, if you count Justice Leagues and The Flash, there's like 13 live action Batman films for us to pick from. And we had to narrow it down to 5.
Five moments.
So do you want to start then? Do you want to go number 5?
My number 5 is the opening scene of the Batman.
Okay.
So like the narration...
Thursday.
October
31st,
that bit,
yeah, through to...
Sorry, yeah. I think the narration's really good. Like, it depicts what Batman is, like, so well, and no other film has kind of captured that essence, I don't think, as to that ability
I'd agree,
in that scene. So, yeah, that's why...
Nice.
Yeah, I've got it 5th. I've got it on my list.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, that's a big start compared to what I've got as number 5. So we're going to tone it down a little bit here for my number 5. And I don't know if you're going to recall what scene this is. So this is from Batman Returns.
Okay.
And there is a scene where the Penguin's kind of turned up and everyone thinks at the first he's a bit of a good guy and he's looking for his parents. And there's basically a scene where Batman is just in his Batmobile driving around. And he pulls up and watches the Penguin through a window and he looks into his computer. Alfred, it's like that cheesy kind of Alfred pops up and he's like,
I think he knows who his parents are. There's something else.
It's the best Keaton Batman voice in the whole thing. He does a voice really well, but also for me, there's such a quintessential part of Batman is him patrolling the streets and doing it. And it's really hard for me to describe, but there's something about that scene in that film. So Batman Returns to Whole, I think stylistically looks so much better than the first one, arguably, and I love the visuals of it. And I think although Burton's films maybe don't capture the essence of Batman itself properly, I think visually he has a really good style for it. And it's a really simple scene, but it's just something that always sticks in my mind. It just feels very, very Batman to me.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
Number 5.
Number 4. So, number 4, I've got a small moment. It's only one line.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's actually technically Batman, it's more Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
But it's from Batman vs Superman. And it's the scene when he goes to that party and he meets Clark for the first time.
Okay, yeah.
And I can't remember what he has to do, but he has to do some...
Oh, he has to go and down... What? He goes down to like the basement.
He has to do some sort of investigating or something.
He's downloading the information about the weapon, which turns out to be kryptonite.
So he's done it, and then that woman comes in and says, "You're not meant to be down there." And he it's really stupid. And
I know exactly what scene you mean though, because you talk about this all the time.
I just think I don't know. There's something about it. I think the way Ben Affleck plays it is really good.
Where he's kind of drunk.
He plays like he's drunk, and he says, "Oh, that last martini, there's one too many," or something.
She said you shouldn't be down there. He goes, "Oh, sorry, I was looking for the bathroom." Or something. And he goes, "That last martini."
And then when she turns away, he compliments her shoes or something.
I like those shoes.
Yeah.
And then as she turns away, his face just changes instantly.
I can't stay down here, Alfred.
Go upstairs and socialise. Some young lady from Metropolis will make you honest.
I think the reason I like it so much, even though it's like acting drunk, that's such like a cheesy thing to do, but it's the fact that Bruce Wayne is the mask. You know what I mean? So like that whole persona of like a drunken billionaire playboy, like partying, having too many drinks and stuff, that is the Bruce Wayne mask. So to use that as the disguise in that situation, that just sums up Bruce Wayne for me. Like that, he's playing on it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So my number 4 is also from Batman v Superman, but it's probably a bit of a bigger scene than that. So for me, it's the first time you see Batman in that film. I know a lot of people talk about the warehouse fight, and don't get me wrong, love that scene. I think it's great. Yeah. But the first time you see him, and it's when the police officers go down, it looks... I mean, it doesn't really explain what it is, but it basically looks like some sort of enslavement camp. Like it's dark. There's these people, and they go in, and there's these like women behind the bars. And the one thing I really love is before you even see him, they go to open it, they're like, we're letting you out. And they pull the bar shut again. They go, no, he's still here.
Yeah, they're like
and I was like, wow, that was the first time you captured like how scary Batman is. That even the people he's there to rescue are like, he's still here. And then you have that whole shot where the police officer's looking around with like almost like a little flashlight, isn't it? And his gun, and he's just like hanging.
Yeah, like some demon.
Yeah,
like
literally is just hanging like a demon on the wall. And then when they shoot him, he kind of like just sort of moves,
scuttles
and
away.
shoots.
Yeah.
And for me, that's all he does. There's no action. There's no fighting or anything. It's just literally like I was like that. That was so Batman to me when I saw that in the cinema. I was like, wow, okay,
Yeah. That scene for me nearly made my top 5. So.
I mean, for me as well. I also love the scene straight afterwards because there's, I don't know if you remember, they goes down to the Batcave and Ben Affleck is looking massive in that lift. I don't know, I think it's the angle. Obviously, he was big for the film, but the angle makes him look absolutely enormous. And he walks in and Alfred's testing the voice modulator and he sits down. They do the whole line where he's like, "Oh, the criminals, Alfred, have always been." Again, his acting in it, he looks so like just. He's obviously had a night as Batman, and he's just so done,
shattered.
Yeah, but he's just.
I think we can probably both agree that Ben Affleck was robbed of his chance.
He was.
Like he would have been like in those films. He's good Batman. If he had the opportunity,
he was such a good Batman, and he was let down. Really.
Yeah,
by the films.
Yeah, definitely.
So number 3.
So number 3, you mentioned it. I've got the warehouse scene. Number 3.
Okay.
I like it. Just is a good action scene.
It is. It's so for me. I remember when the trailer first came out, and you saw snippets of that warehouse scene, and I was like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the way he fights, even like I don't like the fact he's killing them.
No.
Like I don't like that. But again, that's kind of the film.
Yeah.
But the way he moves in it, and the fact that they're all looking at a door, and then he comes through the floor. Like he's like distracting them, and then at the end he comes through the wall, doesn't he, to grab that guy.
But yeah, but even the action itself, there's like one bit in it where there's like 2 or 3 guys, and and the movements are quick.
Yeah.
It's fast paced. You know, when there's a bit where he's being dragged along the floor and he's blocking all these knives coming at him. And it's sort of like this. It's just so Batman.
Yeah.
And I think
just is a good
action
action scene.
Being honest, the Dark Knight trilogy action was a bit lackluster.
Yeah.
So to suddenly have that was like.
Yeah. What have you got number 3 then?
Right. So number 3 for me, it's an interesting one. So it's more of a Bruce Wayne moment again. So taking your mind back to the beginning of Batman Begins, and it's when Bruce Wayne is in prison. And that guy approaches him, and he goes like, "You're in hell, little man," and he goes, "Oh, you know," whatever he says, and he goes, "No, I am the devil." And he goes, "You're not the devil, you're practicing," and just takes out all these guys. It's not necessarily a fight because the fight isn't very good when they're fighting in the mud, but it's just that moment of like we've never seen Bruce Wayne like that in the film at that stage of his life where he's not Batman yet, he's lost. And again, I think credit to Christian Bale. I think he's an incredible actor.
Yeah.
And it's just a small moment again, but I love seeing that, like this kind of broken Bruce Wayne who's on his journey to become Batman. And that little scene, I think it's just a really cool scene. It was just a really great way to open the film. And it's something that really captured me. I can remember being in the cinema and being like, even though that was a small scene, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're in for.
Yeah,
like, it just works. Yeah. So yeah, that's my number 3 moment.
Nice. Number 2? Number 2, I've got the Batmobile chase. So from the Batman.
Yeah.
So when he's revving the engine and toys with them, he gets them to go. You know what I mean?
So that's what he does, because I've seen a lot of people go, does he stall the car? And I'm like, no. I think
he wants the chase, doesn't he? He wants it.
Do you know what? Now you've mentioned that scene, I'm like, that should be in there somewhere for mine. I haven't got it in there, but like it's such a good scene. And also, you know, it's the whole thing of like, well, he could have just driven and captured them, but it's the whole thing of like this Batman, because he's a young Batman, he's making mistakes and he's got a lot of faults, and one of his faults is he loves the adrenaline rush. Well, that's how I read it. Is he wants the car chase.
Yeah.
He caused so much issue. You think about the explosion that happens at the end. That's caused because he couldn't just capture Penguin there and then. He had to have the chase because that's what he's. Yeah. He's an adrenaline junkie in that film.
And I think Colin Farrell's like when he's messing around with the car and stuff. He's even though that's not Batman, but like he plays it really well.
It's filmed so well as well. Don't you think?
And then when he comes through, like that shot at the end when the Batmobile comes through the flames, it's so good.
And
then like he flips the car. Yeah. And then obviously the whole like upside down shot, which was like the trailer shot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's just a good shot. And like he's a bat, he's hanging upside down and all that stuff. It's just good.
No, I'm behind you on that. I feel like I should have included that. So we're on number 2. Is that number 2?
Oh, and the music in that scene.
Yeah.
So your number 2.
My number 2 is actually what your number 5 was, I think. So it's the opening to the Batman.
Oh, okay.
Again, we went to the midnight screening, didn't we? And when that started, the monologue started, and you've got the shots of him walking through the city as like he's a drifter, isn't he? He's got the eye makeup on, but he's got his cap on and whatever. I was like, wow, this is what we've been waiting for. The Gotham looks dingy and dark. You've got this. Bruce Wayne is effectively walking through the city looking for crime. Yeah. But one of my favourite moments is the way he describes the bat signal. When you get the criminals run out, and they look up at the bat signal, and then they look across at the shadows, and he's not there. You know, he's not even anywhere near, but they're scared. And actually, the reputation of Batman has made the criminals so scared. Yeah. And again, we haven't seen that really in a live action film. And I thought they captured that so well. Yeah, it was just spot on. And
the boots as well. When you first hear the boots,
he walks in, you hear the boots. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. For me, maybe the whole sequence all the way up to the end of that kind of train station fight. Yeah, it's Batman. There's no other way to describe it. Right, so before we jump into number one, I reckon we've probably both got some honourable mentions. Yeah. So, I've got a few. So a couple of mine, and again, two of mine are Bruce Wayne moments. So one of them's from The Dark Knight, and it's a scene where he needs to turn himself in. Mm-hmm. So I think, again, a lot of people talk about how The Dark Knight isn't really a Batman story, but I think it is. Actually, there's some really powerful stories in there where he's got to look at what he's doing and does he give himself up for the greater good of people and to protect the city. And obviously that scene, I think Christian Bale's acting when he stood there, and you know, they're all going,
"No more dead cops!" He should turn himself in.
And his eyes tell the whole story. That he is willing to give himself up. Like he knows he'll end up going to prison possibly for life for what he's done being Batman. And he even takes that step forward. And I know obviously we know what happens. Harvey Dent steps in and it all kind of goes from there. But it's the fact that he was willing to give up everything in that moment to protect people. That was like, to me, that is Batman.
I think one of my honourable mentions from that is obviously the next scene, the interrogation scene.
Oh yeah.
With Joker.
Yeah.
And it obviously everyone sees that scene as a Joker scene, which it is, because Joker's in control the whole time. But I watched it again recently, and Christian Bale's acting in Behind the Mask is so good. Like when he's like, "Where is she?" and all that. Obviously, he's got the Christian Bale voice. Do you know, but his eyes are
and also what's really good is the line when the Joker says, "You've got nothing to threaten me with, nothing of all your strength." His eyes at that point is almost that desperation of realising. Yeah. This is all I've got, and this is doing nothing to him.
And because you were talking about the scene when he should have handed himself in, when Joker says,
"You let Dent take your place. Even to a guy like me, that's cold."
And you can see on Batman, he's like, "Oh, actually, you're right. I should have just handed myself in. Yeah, like I've played this wrong.
I played right into the Joker's hands as well. Yeah,
and like if he could go back, he would have just said, "Hang on a minute, no, it's not you. I am Batman." You know what I mean?
Yeah. So number one, I'll let you go first.
I've got the end scene of The Dark Knight. So the whole Two-Face. So from when Two-Face is interrogating Gordon, right?
Okay, so the whole bit on top of the
to the end.
It's basically it's a place where Rachel's blows up. Blows up.
And there's one line in particular that I really like, and it's when Harvey says, "How comes I'm the only one who's lost everything?" And then Batman just says, "You aren't," and then they brush past it.
Yeah. I know.
Like the other two don't even realise.
Then why was it me who was the only one who lost everything? It wasn't. The Joker chose me because you were the best of us.
And it's the same thing you're talking about, like. When he hands himself in, like obviously at the end of The Dark Knight, he does hand himself in.
Yeah,
and it's like
he sacrificed himself. Yeah,
he sacrifices being the Batman, and
in a different way than he was. Yeah,
I never even thought about. Yeah, he like that is Batman, to be the hero, like just to sacrifice everything. He loses Rachel, who was like his only childhood friend. Who he loved.
I just had a real epiphany moment about this film now. Well, we were talking earlier about like handing himself in, and he goes to but doesn't, and then Joker says the line, "That was cold."
Yeah,
and then he does it at the end. Why have I known
that is the film?
I know, but it's never really twigged. Like I knew that was a film, but it's just the way we talked about it now has made it really twig in my head, like what the arc is.
Yeah, the arc is that Batman is the only thing he's ever truly felt something, and he gives that up to save Gotham.
Okay, yeah.
Like that's like the last scene of The Dark Knight is so good.
Yeah, it's I gotta give you that.
He wants to be the Batman, but he can't because he knows it's better for Gotham if he's not the Batman.
I like that. I killed those people. That's what I can be. No, you can't. You're not. I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be.
So
Yeah.
gives it up. And that one line where he says you aren't, like Harvey's like, how comes I'm the only one who's lost everything? Because obviously he lost Rachel.
Yeah.
But then Bruce also lost Rachel. But
But
the
also-
other two don't even realise.
No, but
and
it's
like,
more than that though. He's not. He knows he's about to give up.
to give up Batman. Yeah,
Yeah.
true. But also the other two never ask, how you doing, Batman? You know what I mean? Which is like really sad. But like no one ever cares about Batman.
No.
But all he ever does is care for everyone else. So
Care for everyone.
that's-
Yeah.
that's why I
Yeah.
think that last scene is really good.
Right. So, on a similar vein, my number one is the ending of Batman Begins.
Okay.
And I know I've talked to you about this before. It's a much smaller ending than The Dark Knight, and it may not be as impactful. I think it's how you just described the ending of The Dark Knight. But for me, it's such a simple scene. It's a scene, on the rooftop with Gordon. Very simple scene. You got the introduction of the bat signal. They then talk about escalation, which I think is just a really cool concept. It is kind of what Batman is. In the comics, the whole idea is you've got other superheroes out there who fight these criminals, whereas actually one of the moral kind of complexities about Batman is that you wonder if he wasn't around, would these criminals come up? Is he creating the criminals around him?
Yeah.
So Gordon gives that speech about escalation. It's very simple. Again, he goes,
Start carrying semi-automatics, they buy automatics. We start wearing Kevlar, they buy armor-piercing rounds.
Man.
And you're wearing a mask, jumping off rooftops.
if you're going to this length, what length are they going to go to keep up with it? And you have the classic introduction of the Joker. But for me, the line that got me, and it's just something that I remember going to the cinema to watch this. I remember seeing that ending, and it really shaped how I viewed life. So that's why it will always be number one for me. Is a simple line of Gordon saying, "I never said thank you," and he just turns around and says, "And you'll never have to," and jumps off and does a little cool shot.
I never said thank you.
And you'll never have to.
For me, that actually morally shaped my life, where it was like an epiphany moment then that I've carried with me since then, which is you do things for people without the expectation of them thanking
Getting
you.
anything back.
Yeah, don't sit there and think, oh, well, they never said thank you. That's rude of them. It's like, no, you do things for people because of love for people. And that's it. And that is a lesson I learned from Batman.
Yeah. That's a good lesson to learn, though, isn't it?
It's a simple line, but it's just something that hit me then, and it's stuck with me ever since. So.
Yeah, it's good.
Number one scene. I feel like we didn't really disagree with each other on any of these.
No. We could have had a longer list.
I was going to say we could probably talk about Batman all day, which is a bit sad of anything. But we'll stop it there. Again, let us know some of your favourite moments. Or if you disagree with any of the moments that we shared, and actually, again, if you don't like them for any reason, then
let us know.
Let us know, and we'll cry quietly in the corner. Thanks again, and see you again soon.
Thanks for watching.